Okay, so now let's do the teeth. So we have our nice little tongue. We'll go ahead and glue that in. Let me put that in there for now. What's great about making the teeth is we've already got some nice corners. And what we can do when we look at them, we can go ahead and decide how big we want these to be. And I would really recommend that you make it big. So I'm going to make a pretty big amount here for my corner. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut across. Let me draw this out, what I'm talking about. So I want to make it go across. So I've got a really good sized triangle for those teeth. That's the line that I'm going to make. So I'm going to do that one there and there. And I want to make them bigger rather than smaller. You might say, well, those are going to be really big teeth. Sure, but, and I'll sort of measure this a little bit. Yeah, it's about the same size. So I'm going to just do nice big corners. So now we'll glue those in. And these are big, but you can't make them bigger if you make them too small. So it's always good to start with big and then backtrack. So we'll go ahead and add his little teeth on here, little fangs, and his tongue. Okay, so when I'm doing the teeth, I'm going to do the teeth first, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to go ahead and put it, and change to the purple glue so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and put a good amount of glue on the top flat part of that tooth where I want it to attach, but I don't want any extra glue to get on my table or go to waste. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the tongue. I'm going to tuck that in there for one of his fangs. That looks pretty good. I think I'm going to leave that one like that for a fang, a tooth. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some glue on this one. And I know this is a much bigger fang. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that one. I'm going to add the glue. And then that way, the extra glue is getting on the tongue. It's not getting on my table. So now I want to size it up so it looks good with the other fang. I'm going to need to put this back a little further to try to make them look a little more even. That's still a little big. I'm being picky here. You don't have to be picky. So I'm going to go ahead and put it over here. Oop, and I've got a corner sticking out. Well, I've got them in place, and I'm happy with that. So I can just trim it off. All right. And now I've got some glue on here for my tongue. Finish adding a little more glue to my tongue. And yours could be skinnier. It doesn't have to be a big, wide tongue. I just kind of like it. I think it's funny. So I'm going to put it in there. There. Rub that in there. All right, so from here, you can test your bat out to see if it looks the way you want and decide what kind of a face you want. Now, if you have eyes left over from your eyeball project, you can use those. And also, if you want to bend your fangs downward, you can. Just wait till your glue's dry so that if you want them to be covering his mouth, they're not going to fall off. All right, so with the rest of my paper, I'm just going to draw a couple of circles and cut them out and glue them to the top of his head so that he's got eyes that are looking around. So you can decide if you want to have eyes that are far apart, like this one where we use the leftover eyes from the eyeball project, or do you want to draw your own? And what kind of a face do you want him to have? Maybe you want to do some nice eyes for him. I'm just going to do simple ones. Some basic circles. Well, I guess these would be ovals. And I'm going to go ahead and give him a silly face, silly kind of eyeball thing, because I like those. I think it looks fun. And one of the good things about it, if you are using construction paper for this and not like copy paper or notebook paper, since the glue does not like to stick to it, it will come loose like it did with our green bat here. It does like to come apart after a while. I've re-glued it, but you can see that it has come loose. That came loose again. That's okay. But you can see that it still holds together. And if that happened with the eyes, I could just change the expression later. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my eyeballs out and glue them on, and we'll look at our final bat.